So happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to Survive to Thrive. Today, we are going to talk about prospecting. We're going to focus on for sale by owners, and we're going to focus on circle prospecting. Now, I want you to start by writing down your goal for the number of listings you want to take in the next 12 months. And then I want you to pretend for a moment that your number one source for listings taken in the next 12 months is going to be prospecting. It's going to be prospecting for sell by owners, prospecting expired listings, circle prospecting around a home that just sold. And we're going to use a 20% conversion ratio. That's a 20% conversion ratio from an appointment. That's a face-to-face appointment. It's not a listing appointment. It's an appointment to see their home. And we're going to use a 20% conversion ratio. I'm going to share with you a formula to take 50 listings in the next 12 months. So whatever the goal was you wrote down, you can adjust the numbers. And here's the thing. And before we wrap this up, I'm going to share some things that I've read in a book that's been sitting on my bookshelf for quite a few years. It's 10X by Grant Cardone. And I know a lot of you have read 10X is Easier Than 2X. Two very different books. And so just make sure you've got the right book when I'm talking to you about this. All right, if you're going to work 50 weeks and you're working 5 days a week, that's 250 work days. You have a standard that you're going to talk to 20 people. All right, it's not 19, it's not 18, it's not 17, it's 20. If you don't have the 20th conversation, you might have missed the one conversation that day that was going to turn into a listing taken. So that's why the standards are so important here. And I know I'm going to give you standards that are a little bit higher or a lot higher than what you've currently been doing. Here's the bottom line. You're going to have to be willing to do more if you want more. You're going to have to be willing to do what you don't want to do in order to get what you want to get. So I'm not going to say this is going to be easy, but it's not. That's not the important part. It's possible. That's the important part. Now, I'm having 20 conversations, 250 days a year. That means I'm having 5,000 conversations. Now, I have two focus. One focus is I'm scheduling appointments to meet with that for sale by owner. I'm calling it for sale by owner. Hi, this is John Dietz, local real estate expert. I've noticed you're selling your home, and I'm curious, if I had an offer on your home, would you want me to bring you the offer? There's your script. Super simple, right? Now, possible, what are you going to hear? Well, here's a few possibilities. Do you have a buyer? That's a great question, and I won't know until I see your home. That's exactly why we need to get together. Are you bringing the buyer with you? That's another great question. And no, I'm not. And let me share with you why. When I do show up with a buyer, it's going to be the right buyer. It's not going to be the wrong buyer. And that's what you want me to do, isn't it? Okay, who's going to say yes, no to that? They're not going to say no to that. They're going to say yes to that. All right. It's strategic conversations, guys. Now, I'm only using tie downs when I know what the answer is going to be. When I bring you a buyer, you want me to bring you the right buyer, not just any buyer, correct? Isn't that true? Yes, it's true. Now, in order for me to do that, I need to see your home first so that I know exactly what your home has to offer so I can match it with the right buyer. Now, what else could you possibly hear? Well, they might ask you what your fee is. My answer to that is tell them. Don't beat around the bush. If your fee is 2.5% or 2% or 3%, whatever it is, just tell them. But words matter. How you tell them matters. My fee is 3% to represent the buyer if you accept the offer. My fee is 3% to represent the buyer if you accept the offer. In other words, what's my fee if they don't accept the offer? Well, it's 0. Then who's going to decide how much they're going to pay me? Well, the seller is. And the only way the seller is going to give me that 3% is if I bring them an offer that meets all their goals. Now, what are you going to hear? You might hear I'm not paying 3%. Here's your response. That's fine. when I bring you an offer, if I need to give up money in order to make the deal work, I will, because I'm a deal maker, not a deal breaker. Well, so-and-so said they would do it for 2%. Somebody else said they would do it for 1%. Just out of curiosity, how many offers have they brought you? How much money are you saving? Until somebody brings you an offer, tell me why the fee matters. All right, now to that hardcore for sale by owner that just is not going to let you in the door. People will never change their mind, but they will make new decisions based on new information. Write it down. And I know you've heard me say it 1,000 times, so you're probably thinking, I don't need to write it down, John. I've already got it. But matter of fact, I'm sick of you saying it. Too bad. I'm going to keep saying it. Here's the other thing. We are more motivated by avoiding pain than we are by going towards pleasure. So when somebody is hardcore, not going to let me in the door, I'm immediately going to go to harm's way questions. That creates pain. That gives them an opportunity to make a new decision based on new information. So Debbie, that's cool. You don't need to let me see your home. I'm totally okay with that, by the way. And just out of curiosity, if you're still in your home 3 months from now, and I've sold 2 homes in your neighborhood, is it possible that you would regret not allowing me to come in and see your home? If the market shifts and you have more competition in 3 months and you're looking at a tougher market to sell your home and your home is worth less money, is it possible that you might regret allowing me to see your home? Now we're talking 20 minutes, and what do you have to lose other than 20 minutes of your time? Now, if you had a crystal ball and you knew I was going to sell your home, you would want me to see it, wouldn't you? Again, what are they going to say? They're going to say yes. Now, as soon as you get that yes, it's time to close. I've got today at 4 o'clock, or would tomorrow at 5 be better for you? Pay attention to the words, pay attention to how we're running these plays, because it matters. All right, now the purpose of the call is to make the appointment. You're thinking, duh, of course, John. Hear what that says, though. That means there's nothing they can say that would cause me not to go. I'm only paying 1%. Awesome. Today at 4, tomorrow at 5. I've already got a real estate agent. If I were going to list my home, I would hire them. Awesome. Today at 5 or tomorrow at 4. There's nothing they could say that would cause me not to go. The purpose of the call is to make an appointment. I have a standard, remember, and my standard is 20 conversations a day. The other standard is I'm going to schedule 2 appointments. It's 20 conversations a day and 2 appointments, whichever comes last. You guys get that? Now, when you schedule 2 appointments every single day, that means you've met with 500 potential sellers in a year's time. Everybody with me? All right, now, if the purpose of the call is to get the appointment, the purpose of the appointment is to build a foundation to follow up from. Knowing that, and knowing that every seller is asking themselves 3 questions about me. And those 3 questions are, can I trust you? Do you care about me? Can you help me? I'm going to convey, I care about you, you can trust me, and I know what I'm doing. I'm going to call ahead and I'm going to confirm the appointment. You are already miles ahead of everybody else because very few people are doing this. I'm going to show up on time. If my appointment is at 4, I'm knocking on the door at 4 p.m. Not at 3:50, that's not on time. Not at 4:05, that's not on time. When you show up on time, you're already miles ahead of everybody else. Now, the moment they open that door, that's my Kodak moment. I'm dressed professional. I'm going to greet them at the front door with enthusiasm. Hi, Brian. John Dietz. We had an appointment for 4 p.m. and it's 4 p.m. May I come in? Now, the moment I walk in that door, I'm excited. Be enthusiastic about the opportunity. Wow, I love your home. I'm so excited about this opportunity to help you, ... sell your home. Embedded command. Listen to it. Wow, I am so excited to be here and looking forward to helping you sell your home. Now, Debbie, if I could ask a favor, would you please take me on a tour of your home? I want you to show me your home just like you would if I were a buyer. By the way, before we go any further, would you like me to take my shoes off? Be different. I care about you. You can trust me. I can help you. You're already miles ahead of everybody else. Now, as we're touring the property, I have a notebook in my hand and a pen in my hand, and I am taking lots of notes because this is the information I'm going to use to help you sell your home. Debbie, as we tour your home, I'm going to ask you some questions and I'm going to take lots of notes because this is the information I'm going to use to help you sell your home. Now, as Debbie's taking me on a tour of her home, I'm going to take notes out loud. That means I'm writing down, I'm saying what I'm writing down. Beautiful family room, hardwood floors, vaulted ceilings, crown molding, wood burning fireplace. I'm talking as I'm writing these things down. We walk into the kitchen. Holy cow, I love your kitchen. This is beautiful. I can tell you've updated it recently. When did you update your kitchen, Debbie? I bet this is your favorite room in the house, isn't it? It's my favorite. This is where I would spend all my time. Be excited about their home. Take a lot of notes, ask questions. What kind of questions should I ask, John? It's good question, guys. The same kind of questions that a buyer would ask. How old is your roof? How long have you lived in your home? What updates have you made to your home in the last 2 or 3 years? What do you like most about your home? By the way, if you weren't selling, what updates would you make next? Now, that's a great question to ask anyone that has a home that needs updated, because you're never going to go in that home and start pointing out everything that needs to be updated. Average real estate agent walks into the kids' room. Holy cow, purple walls, pink carpet. What were you thinking? This has got to change. What do you think the seller thinks? I love this room, and you just insulted the hell out of me. I don't like you anymore. Get out of my house. Your job is to like their home. It's not to go in there and stage it. So if you're doing that, stop it. Like their home. Be enthusiastic. Take a lot of notes. Remember, the purpose of the appointment is to build a foundation to follow up from. It's not to convert this to a listing appointment. I have so many real estate agents come to me and they're like, John, I used the scripts in Rainmaker and your playbook, and oh my God, it's working. Like, they're surprised. But then they say things like, but it was a really lousy appointment. I'm like, why was it a lousy appointment? Well, they're not motivated. They're 100,000 overpriced. Their house needs a lot of updating. There's no such thing as a bad appointment. No such thing. If they're motivated, they're going to change the way they think, and they're going to do what they need to do and then get their home sold. And if they're not motivated, they're eventually going to sell their home. Nobody buys a home and lives in it forever. That person is eventually going to sell their home, and when they do, I'm going to be their agent. Now, if it's a couple months from now, awesome. If it's a year from now, awesome. If it's 5 years from now, awesome. We're all going to need seller listings 5 years from now, so who cares? Now, the other thing that I want you to do when you're on the appointment is look for motivation. Just ask a couple simple questions like, when your home sells, where are you moving to? What's important about moving to Tampa? How soon would you like to be there? Why is that important? Now, if you are hearing answers that tell you you have a ready, willing, and able seller, then you know that you're going to get to a listing conversation sooner. If you sense frustration, they've been on the market for a while, and you're hearing things like, I really thought it would have sold by now. You know, I'm getting showings, but it's just a bunch of realtors who want to list my house. These are frustration comments. The moment you hear frustration, it's time to close for a listing appointment. Debbie, If I could show you how I could sell your home for more money in less time, would you be interested in seeing how I could do that? All right, now you're at the front door. It's the exit conversation. This is where you're going to decide what happens next. So before I leave, is it okay if I ask you a couple questions? You know, in my experience, most homeowners who are selling their home by owner have a game plan for how long they're going to sell by owner before they ... hire a real estate agent like me. Most homeowners, by the way, don't go in somebody's home and say ... That's for you guys. I want you to hear the embedded command. So most homeowners have a game plan for how long they're going to sell by owner before they hire a professional like me. Just out of curiosity, what's your game plan? 30 days, 2 weeks, a week, Monday. If it's not sold by Monday, I'm listing my house. Awesome. I'd love to apply for the job. I'd love to meet with you and show you what I could do to sell your home for more money in less time. I'm never going to list it. Totally understand. Okay, one more question before I leave. Again, in my experience, most homeowners that are selling by owner are selling by owner in order to save on the fee. Is that why you're selling by owner? Yes, makes sense. And I know when we talked on the phone, you mentioned if I were to bring you a buyer that made you an offer that you accepted, you would pay me 3% for that offer. Is that correct? Yes. So let me understand. The difference between selling your home by owner and working with a professional like me is only 3% then. It's not 6%. You're already spending 3%, aren't you? Now, that's what Floyd Wickman would call dropping a bomb and walking away. Just let that drop. They'll think about it later on. All right. Now, before you leave, thank you for the opportunity to meet with you. You have an absolutely beautiful home. My goal now is to find the right buyer and bring you an offer and help you sell your home. Here's one more thing for you, Dave. I'm really good at follow-up. That's an important comment because most real estate agents suck at follow-up. You're letting them know, hey, one more thing, Dave, I'm really good at follow-up. So I will be in touch. Now, guys, I want you to focus here for a moment. Lead generation is where we schedule the appointment. Transaction management is what happens once they hire us. This giant space in the middle is follow-up. Week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. I'm making sure that I call them at least once every week for the first month. And then every other week for the next 2 months, and then once a month after that. I'm looking for this. This is the point where they get serious about selling their home. You're creating emotional proximity. And because you're still following up with them, you're the closest to them. So then when they make a decision to sell their home, it only makes sense that you're the right agent for the job. Now, I said 20%, we're only going to use 10%. If 10% of these people hire you, what's 10% of 500? Don't worry, I'll answer for you. It's 50 seller listings. 50 seller listings. And you're like, I don't believe it. Here's why you don't believe it. Because you're not willing to do the work in order to get it. Don't be offended. You can get mad at me, that's just fine. But don't get offended. There's 4 categories or degrees of action. Now, I just showed you how to take 50 seller listings in a year. You're either going to take action, you're going to take no action, you're going to retreat and run the other way, or you're going to take massive action. Now, where do you think most people fall on that list? No action or mediocre action? There's your answer. The ones who take massive action, this is what they're going to do. It's going to take massive action. Remember, I didn't say it was going to be easy, but I said it was going to be possible. All right. Average, by definition, assumes less than extraordinary. Write it down. Average, by definition, assumes less than extraordinary. Someone who takes average actions but is capable of much more is electing to do some variation of doing nothing or retreating. Oh my gosh, am I talking to you? Imagine the products and services that we're so often tempted to buy used averaged in their advertising. This fairly average product can be found at an average price that delivers mediocre results. Are you getting in line to buy that? Of course you're not. But most of us will either choose no action or mediocre action. The answer is simply raise your standards to massive action, and anything is possible. All right, talk to me, guys.
So I had a for sale by owner listing appointment yesterday. And she's my friend, and I've never met her husband before. So I went with the view that I mean, I do actually have a buyer that could be interested, not at the price they want for it, but anyway, having seen it, I'm like, yeah, he's never going to go for this at the price they're expecting. And they're probably a good 75 to 100 grand over where it should be. So we talked a little bit about that, but every time I asked a question, he did not want to answer. He didn't want to talk or discuss anything. And so I didn't want to push too much for like listing it. I mean, I did say, rightly or wrongly, you know, I would love the opportunity to help you sell this. I left them some information, and obviously I now need to follow up. I know my buyer's not going to buy it. So then it does leave me with the, you know, the opportunity to list. So what do I do?
Emma, I just want to reach to the computer screen and give you a hug right now. Are you listening to me?
I know, I do sometimes.
Oh, this is exactly the kind of conversation I have with so many real estate agents. Okay, here's the point. They're not here. They're not ready. And until they're ready, nothing you say matters.
Well, they've already bought property elsewhere.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're not ready. When they're ready, they'll listen to you.
Yeah.
Your job between now and then is to follow up until they're ready to make a new decision based on new information. But until they're ready, nothing you say or do is going to matter.
Okay.
Here's the other thing I want you to look at. And I'm so proud of you going on for sell by owner appointment, Emma. I really am. You want this to be a successful source for future listings. It's a math equation. If this particular for sale by owner was one of 20 that you were in follow-up with right now, you would look at this a different way.
Yeah.
Okay. I probably didn't give you the answer you wanted. I apologize. But okay.
Follow up. Got it.
They're not ready yet.
Yeah.
So when they're ready, they're going to be ready. They're ready to make a new decision based on new information.
Okay. Thank you.
Don't be mad at me. Okay. Now the rest of you don't want to talk to me. You're like, well, if he doesn't like what I said. All right.
John, I'll just jump in so that you're not left hanging.
Thanks.
You're right. And I had a for sale by owner that sold without me this year. And by the end of it, I might have told you this, by the end of it, both the husband and the wife said to me separately, individually, we regret every bit of this. We should have listened to you a long time ago.
That's right. That's right.
I just was there when they had questions. I followed up and checked in.
That's right. That's right. 75% of for sale by owners
should be there to list it.
Their home sales. If you survey the 25% who successfully sold, 75% of them would tell you they wish they hired a real estate agent.
I have a question. So I guess for people who are not ready, like how often should you follow up?
Kiara, you muted yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. For people who aren't ready, like in Emma's example, how often would you follow up with them, and what exactly like would you say? Because obviously they're not ready to list with you yet.
Yeah, once a week for the first 4 weeks, once every other week for the next 2 months. Now we're 3 months in. Most of the time, that's as far as you're going to have to go.
Okay.
In those rare occasions where it takes more than 3 months, now you're following up once a month. Now, every conversation starts with, this is John Dietz, following up as promised. Now, I'm asking questions. Is your home still available? Have you had any offers? Tell me what the offers look like. What kind of feedback are you hearing?
Okay. Thank you.
Darren, talk to me. Then we're going to jump, guys. We'll do an entire different
You just answered my question.
follow-up. Did I? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right. I'm going to go back to Emma because I feel like I really screwed up there. Emma, Emma. You told me that they bought it. They've already bought another property, right?
Yes,
Okay. Have they closed on that property?
it's a family purchase, so no, not yet. They're in the process of doing it.
Okay, there we go. When is it closing?
They are closing, I think, by the end of October.
Okay. All right. Then obviously they can afford both properties at the same time.
Right.
That's right, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And they are, how long have they been trying to sell their home by owner?
They haven't at all. They haven't tried yet.
So they're just going to put it on the market for sell by owner.
Yeah. She reached out to me to ask if I knew of anybody that would be interested in buying it, but it's super unique.
Yeah, of course. And that's every seller out there, by the way. That's how they think. Okay. Remember, sellers go to script school too. Was this a listing appointment or was it an appointment for you to see their home so you could bring them a buyer?
It was a little bit of both. She said, bring your information so we know both sides.
Oh, okay. No, so here's some helpful advice I think I can give you.
Okay.
I'm not giving them listing information until they're ready to list their house.
Okay.
That's just like somebody who I call and I want to meet with and they say, just email me your information. No, I'm not going to do that. I have to show you what this looks like in order for you to be able to say no or say yes. Now, until they're ready to list their home, and it's a listing appointment, I'm not bringing listing information. So my aha right here is it was more come look at our home so you could bring us a buyer than it was listing appointment. And the moment you started having any kind of listing conversation with them, they pushed back, didn't they?
She didn't. He did.
He
Yeah.
did. Yeah. Yeah, of course. And this happens all the time as well. You've got a married couple, one of them super motivated, the other one's not motivated. One may want to sell their home, another one may not even want to sell. So until they both get ready, it's not time to have a listing conversation yet.
I mean, she did ask. She's like, can you share with me what it would look like? So I gave her like bare bones information because I was conscious that it was like a double-edged thing going on here. So
all right, we'll work more on this during our coaching appointment, okay?
okay.
I want to help you with this. All right, guys, I hope you got great value today. If you didn't get anything else, here's the one thing I want you to walk away with. Massive action over mediocre action or no action or retreat. Massive action. And I see some of you smiling. You're like, John, you're talking to me. Massive action is the path to success. It's the only path. There is no other path. So for those of you who have been looking for another path, stop it. You're not going to find it. It's massive action and that's it. All right. Make it a great day, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, Sean.